Hello, welcome to another episode of Despite the Challenges. I'm host Ritu Chopra. Despite the Challenges, a show where we showcase people who have overcome impending challenges in their lives. Not only they have turned around their own lives, but they inspire us. They contribute to the society in many ways. Today, my guest is an amazing woman who says that for the first 40 years of her life was on autopilot. And what turning points came in her life? She turned it around, and she's not only a vibrant, healthy woman, but she is doing a lot in the community. And let's hear from Sangeeta Patel. Sangeeta, welcome to Despite the Challenges.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ritu, for having me on your show today. It's a delight. And yes, I mean, we share our stories every day. We have different stories in our lives.
Absolutely.
And in my childhood also, there was a story. And then along my teenage, in my 20s, there was another story. And each story had its own turning point.
And I want to hear them all.
All right. Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
So, well, I would talk about the major one that happened, which was during my early 20s.
Okay.
It was when I went back to India from here with my 2-year-old son and my husband. I got into a car accident. And that was on our way with my brother. He was driving. He was about 7 years younger than I was at that time. And he was driving, and an 18-year-old wheeler truck came and hit our car. And our
so
car,
sorry.
thank you. Our car kind of spinned and chopped the roof off and went underneath. And before I knew it, I was in the hospital.
How many people were in the
It was myself. I was in the back seat, and my brother was in the front. He was driving, and my dad's employee, he was in the passenger seat in the front side. And they both were thrown out of the car, and I was stuck because my legs were broken and my legs were stuck under the seat. So I was
sorry.
there. Thank you. And that's when I stayed in the hospital for about 9 months because the doctors were trying to assemble my legs, and I was from head to toe full of cast, and bandages. And the doctors did not tell me about my brother for almost 3 months or so because I had a head injury. And they thought that I would go into coma or worse, pass away.
So to avoid any other emotional trauma,
to avoid any
stress on the injury itself already. Okay.
Yes. And then I was there for 9 months, and as I started to get up, I was able to get up, and they took my casts out. Then I learned how to walk like a baby. One step at a time. People would hold me, the nurses would hold me. And then I came back to USA. And I was for almost 17 years struggling with pain, emotional pain, physical pain.
Understood.
And a lot of anger, a lot of depression, and frustration,
and it just compiles. Understood.
Yeah. And I was on that autopilot. Like you wake up, you go through the pain, you take the pills, antibiotics to make you feel better, go for a surgery because one of the screw has to come out or the other one has to put in. So this went for almost 17 years.
I want to ask you, I know in your book, I read it. And I must say that the stories are touching and inspiring each time anyone goes through such a traumatic life experiences. You mentioned that a maid or a caregiver held up the doctors for not ambulating
my legs.
Legs.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it. What was happening? that I'm sure that you were unconscious, but you were told.
Yes. So what happened was this happened in like around the small village area on the it was a highway, but they took me to the nearest civil hospital, like a small hospital, and I was covered with blood and glasses and all that. Small glasses were everywhere. My bones, my leg was broken up because my tibia and fibula came out of my.
They had to take
So they had
you
to take
out of the
yes,
under
and
the
they had
car
to collect
seats.
the pieces of my bones.
My
And
goodness.
then when I was shifted to the hospital, I was obviously unconscious. And at that time, I was wearing a sari, so everything was kind of wrapped around my body. And my caretaker was there because my father was making funeral arrangements for my brother and the employee. His name was John. And
So sad.
so he was like torn apart, my father and my mother, as
Sure.
you can believe. My son,
Sure.
2 years old,
So you were brother and sister, and
only brother and
one
sister.
is involved in a
Yes.
accident,
Yes.
is already critical condition. Other one is
Yes,
left.
yes.
So I can only imagine what your parents would be going
pain,
through.
Yeah. And so the doctors, just by looking at the mess in the state that I was in, they said that they wanted to chop my legs off, emulate my legs. At that time, the caretaker who was with me, she said that no, you're not doing anything, you're not touching her unless my father comes and gives permission to do so.
Okay.
And thank God for her that my legs were saved. And then when my dad came and saw me in that state, he immediately moved me into a bigger hospital in the city. And that's where I was given like 10 pints of blood. And then they started surgeries. They call like the doctors
Experts.
who
Or,
knew experts. Yeah.
okay. And that's where the second phase started.
Yes.
Would you like to go back other turning points prior to that, or is it something that not yet? Is it?
No, I mean, you mean talk about the accident or how I found my healing things?
I'm going back to your book and your journey, and you said when you were growing up in your childhood years,
Oh,
and
yes.
you talk
my
about
childhood years.
I want to see how all these
That
events have
kind of
shaped your
me.
life.
Yes, sure. I would love to share. When I was child, at about age of 7 or 8, my dad, he had gas station. And the schools, it was like a village area, so the schools weren't that good. So for better education, my father moved me to the city, Ahmedabad, with my aunt. And
To live
she
with your-
had to live with her because it was a city and they had nice schools and all that. So just for our better education. And at that point, I thought that I felt that I was not wanted.
Okay.
Because like, okay,
Yes.
so you don't want me and you're shifting me away, because they don't explain, right? In
Yes.
the beginning time,
And sometime, or as a child, our ability to comprehend that is not as much.
Yes.
So
At that age,
you
yeah.
thought,
Yeah, I thought that, they don't love me or whatever, and then I was just shifted there. And then as I was growing up over there, and, my throat, like I was not able to self-express myself in the way I wanted to.
okay,
So everything kind of got congested.
understood?
Yes.
Yes. So you're holding up your emotions,
Yes, and then
not
the
being
belief
able to.
systems and the rules and regulations, even in school, in the family members, everything.
Yes.
Okay, you should do this, you should not do this, you talk this way, you do. So everything kind of was very strictly the rules,
Applied.
Yes, and that's how my autopilot journey began.
Okay.
That okay, I have to please these people. I have to, I have to do this. I shouldn't do this. I should not do, could do this but cannot. So like that.
So the little girl is lost.
The little girl lost at that point.
Okay.
She was in the darkness,
So-
and all this time I did not know. But when I grew up, like now, when I look back, I said, "Oh my God, that's what happened. That's what created." And that's how I was not able to express myself.
Isn't that amazing? And I have heard a lot of stories, and I go back into my own childhood, and some similar situations where parents mean well,
Yes.
but our interpretation is completely opposite of the intention
Yes.
what our grown-ups have for
Yes.
us. So, and years back, you look at it, you just laugh about it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how did all that and your accident contributed to become the person you are, or you were, even in your autopilot years? You kept living that
Yes.
anger and anguish and resentment and all this resentment building up
Yes.
because of these surgeries and because of all your
Right.
health issues.
Yes. Yes, I mean, that's when I started, because when I used to go to see the doctors and for surgeries, because every 4 months I had to go for the arthroscopic surgery because I do not have any cartilages. So even when I stand for more than 2-3 minutes, my ankles would swell up and it would hurt
Understood.
me. So it's like a vacuum. They put like little things in there and then they vacuum the debris out between the two bones. And I got tired at that point, So I said that. Then I started reading self-help books.
Okay.
Dr. Wayne Dyer's, and I said,
I've done it.
Okay, then let me start somewhere, right?
Yes.
So I needed some kind of guidance, so to speak. That okay, how can I heal without any needles or antibiotics, or and just release all this pain and anger, frustration, depression, sadness, everything. And that's when I turned to the universe and I said, please help me.
How did that transition take place? And I want to ask, especially for my viewers, there are a lot of people that strongly believe in modern medicine, and modern medicine, I mean, it does wonders as well.
Yes.
Comparing to 50 years ago or 100 years ago, the progress has been outstanding. Yet, the modern medicine, the dependency to the medicine is such that there is maybe a somewhat a physical healing or curing of the symptoms.
And that's exactly what it is. It is the curing of the symptoms. Like if we get a headache, then we pop Advil or something,
Exactly.
just to
Yes.
suppress that symptom down. But most of the time what happens is it is related to the roots. And by using the holistic techniques that I offer to my clients, that helps to kind of unravel that,
I want to talk about a little bit more on that. There's people that who may not believe in the energy or alternative or the holistic approach, and for a person like that who's non-believer, so to speak, that okay, medicine is what it does, right?
Yes.
What would you say to them? How did it transform you? Going from surgery to surgery to surgery, and reading self-help books and finding your new path of this EFT.
Right.
Tell
Well,
me.
what I have to say with that is, from my own experience, is like I said before, I was going through all that, and then at point, I said, okay, there has to be something, So for those who don't believe it, it's like, okay, at a point, some point comes in their life, it's like a volcano, it's time to erupt now.
Okay.
And then it's like when you say that, okay, I have to do something. So some people either do meditation, some people do breathing, some people listen to music and that kind. So when they start realizing that, okay, what makes me feel happy? What makes me feel grounded? What makes me feel calm? And that's when I think that healing journey begins. The openness, the awareness, when that comes in, and when you embrace your inner self,
Absolutely.
your inner child,
Yes.
that's when we awaken our natural ability to heal, because we are all born healers.
And a lot of people like Dr. Wayne Dyer and many other well-known authors have done so much work. Personally, my story as well, I've gone through car accidents, which was the damage of the tissues, etc. But it was a lot of physical pain. But my journey to more of the spiritual upliftment and the healing energies around us was that going through coming inward just like you said, embracing your inner self. Open up yourself to the universe and then go inward. That's what was my journey. And in that, I found a lot of inner strength.
Yes.
When medicine doesn't help you, or medicine does help symptoms, the pizzazz for life, the fullness of life doesn't come with that.
Yes.
I felt like being prisoner somewhere inside,
Yes.
and I'm a very vibrant personality, and it was contrary to the kind of person I am,
Right.
and I didn't like it. I don't know how it seemed to other people, but to myself, I felt like being irritated,
Yes.
and it was completely opposite to my personality.
Yes.
And the journey of the self-healing was such a right thing to do at the moment, right? And I can't speak for people who may not believe in alternate healing and stuff, but I come from the background, the Ayurvedas and all that, and I personally have gone through acupuncture, acupressure, and all that, and I saw the differences within 3 months, from painful physical pain to completely being pain-free,
yes.
and didn't need any medication. So I didn't need to impress anyone at that time. I was in a very different path,
Yeah.
But I know that you are doing this as a profession now. You've gone through quite a bit of learning, as you explain in your book, and in EFT. And we'd like to kind of change the pace a little bit, and I would like you to explain a little bit for our viewers EFT, the Emotional
Freedom
Technique.
Yes. So emotional freedom technique is like it was developed by Dr. Callahan,
Okay.
and then took over with Dr. Gary Craig.
Okay.
And it was originally developed for veterans, like for those who come back from wars and have nightmares, and they
Okay.
have really hard time understanding that and healing that. So what happens is in EFT there are certain meridian points
Such
in our
as
body.
in
It's like acupuncture.
Yes,
Yes, but that's without the needles.
yes.
Yeah?
Okay.
So what happens is when we tap at certain points on our face and our hands and our body, it sends the neurotransmitter cells. It sends a message to our brain that it is okay to feel what you are feeling.
Excellent.
Right?
Very well
So
put.
when you feel angry or depressed or anything, and that is why we do a setup statement, they call it,
Yes.
which means here by the karate chop point, we tap, and it's even though I feel angry, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. What that does is, as you are tapping, you are leaving any anger, any depression, anything outside of you.
Okay. So you're accepting the emotion as you feel.
As you feel, you're acknowledging that.
Yes.
Yes,
Very
because
right.
if you don't acknowledge, it keeps coming back over and over
I
again.
understand.
So when
And
you
it's okay to acknowledge the emotion, either
Yes.
even it's negative.
Yes,
Okay.
even if it is negative. And there are no negative or positive emotions and feelings. They are just, they are as they are.
But that's a reaction. That's how we feel angry,
Because that
or
is
it's
how
like
we
it's
are-
negative.
Yeah, that is how we are taught. When we are small, like as a child, when you grow up, if you get angry, then our parents or our caretakers will say, "No, you're not supposed to get mad. This is not how you behave." So what happens is it kind of shuts us down, and we feel, and then we get that thing that whenever anger comes out, you're not supposed to.
So let me
do that.
ask you, for someone who may not be at the same level that you can express that emotion of anger as positively, how can we tell them it's okay? Anger is, even though it's a negative emotion, expressing anger is not seen as the right
As a
thing
good
to do,
thing,
is a good
yes.
thing to do.
Right.
But you're saying that in EFT, it's okay to have that feeling, but I leave it outside.
Yes.
Okay.
And when you do that, when you tap, you are kind of sending, because our body, it's the information healing. So whatever you tell your body, the cells listens to us. And that is how they kind of create that hormones inside us, you know, the serotonin and the cortisol, which is the stress level.
The stress level.
Yes.
Let's move to the stress level. You write about, okay, it contributes to insomnia, weight gain, poor digestion, depression, and you talk about the emotional healing and the stress relief, and I agree with all that. So a lot of people these days believe in and do yoga and meditation, various forms of meditation. There's no right and a wrong form, as long as it helps the individual. The cortisols and the stress hormones, which they're really damaging the body and creating all these side effects to our body.
Yes.
And what the problems that coming out of stress, the list is long.
Yes.
The answer of energy healing is to reduce the stress.
Yes.
Talk about a little bit more how you address these types of stress related issues with either EFT and Qigong.
Okay, sure. I would love to. I mean, with I had created like a little stress to bliss in 5 minutes. You know, everything is on the go, right?
Let's see that.
Nowadays. So this is my CD for Stress to Bliss, and they can download it for free, like a 5-minute guided meditation that you can do it anytime. And what in that one, what I talk about is the causes of stress, how to manage stress, and just like 5-minute guided meditation that can help you calm down just by breathing, just by bringing the awareness where the tension is in our body. Because most of the time we store all these negative feelings in our body somewhere, like in the lower back, in the neck or the shoulders.
The chakras and all that.
Yes, yes.
I've gone through the pranayam, and it was amazing that the circumference of the body, and I learned, you know, how to hold air in the upper ear and then middle and the down. It was amazing. And you know, and I have over the years overcome the physical pain due to my car accident, etc. And I contribute a whole lot to the meditation practice that I do.
Yes. And meditation, like, you know, so many people ask me, how do you meditate? Or, you know, I cannot meditate because so many thoughts comes to my mind and all that. But meditation is very simple, you know, and because like even when you're washing dishes, just by putting a little background nice music or just enjoying to it, that is a form of meditation.
It comes to when you get assimilated with an idea of the meditation, what it is.
Yes.
For someone who has not.
Yes.
So it might be that a quiet time, a certain time of the day, which is very important to have that, you know. But if not, do you talk about any other meditation techniques in your classes or?
Yes, in my classes I share like how to meditate, then different kinds of breathing techniques. And then obviously Spring Forest Qigong, that's what I follow, which is created by my Chunilin master, you know. And what he does is, like, for instance, let's take anger. So anger is related to our kidney energy. I mean liver energy, sorry, the liver energy. And whenever we get angry, for instance, if a person is continuously angry all the time, then at some point in their life the liver will get damaged.
The liver function is
impacted
within anger.
With anger, yes.
The hormones released.
Yes, and there is a point on our face right here between the eyebrows that helps to detoxify that. So when you tap with the EFT and all that, it helps.
The chakras that, for eyebrow chakras, and this is the Arya chakra, the third eye chakra.
Yes, but these 2 points are the liver points and the gallbladder points, because our points, you know, it goes back and then goes back into the body. So when you tap that, and as you are tapping, you can say that, you know, my body is healed, completely healed. And that's what helps to release the toxins or whatever.
Very well, very well. In Qigong, he said, you know, there is benefit of Qigongs from lungs to kidneys to liver problems to depression and diabetes. It is. It's amazing.
For depression, what people can start doing right away is they can massage the palm of their hands, because this is where we have
Just to show our viewers,
yes,
they massage
yes.
the
palm
center.
of the yes, the left hand first and then the right hand.
Okay.
And just like for a minute or two when they are watching TV or standing in a grocery line, you can do this anytime. And this is the heart center.
Okay.
So whenever, like even if you give healing to someone, that's what we
Yes.
do. Like when you give
Yes.
healing, you do this. So like you open up the things and then you take out all the extra blockages and then you send healing. So it goes from here. So our heart energy sends that energy here and it goes to another person. And it is connected with the heart to heart.
I'm amazed, there's so many, in modern medicine, there are medical studies published and all the research work, and I'm not against any of that. To me, my personal opinion is that I find that there is a balance between the two that I have adopted in my life.
Yes, yes.
I don't discard the modern medicine
No,
at
no,
all.
no.
There
It's
are
a merging
cases,
of it.
it's merging of it, where the energy healing and alternate holistic approaches
approaches.
only enhance what medicine is doing.
Yes.
Personally, it has the self-healing processes had expedited the process for me in many cases. So I am really in agreement,
Yes.
right? But there are people who may need a little bit more information about. There's so much on the internet, anyone can search, but still, it has to be guided process
Yes.
to it. I understand that you run some of the workshops, classes, etc.
Yes.
So can people find it on your website?
Yeah, sure. They can visit my website, which is embraceyourinnerself.com. And on the events page, I have all my upcoming workshops. And
Okay.
my 3-day healing retreat is coming up, which is called
Great.
Limitless Life Transformation Retreat. And that's happening in June 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Of 2015?
Of 2015. And it's in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Okay.
And they can get all the information there.
From
and
your
I have free
website?
teleclasses for
Okay.
the relationships, money mindset, and joy techniques.
Oh, so we all need
which
that.
Is all, we all need
We
that.
all
right?
need that.
So
Relationship, money, and joy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
yeah.
Anything else that you would like to share with our viewers for your transformation, what you had been from autopilot to coming to where you are,
Yes.
such a vibrant person now, glowing with energy. Your transformation itself is an example.
Yes.
What would you like to share with our viewers, if you may have an advice for them?
Sure. The one thing I would share is just place your hand on the heart and say, I love you. I forgive myself.
I
and
love
I'm
you.
Blessed.
I love myself. I
Yes,
forgive
yes.
myself.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm blessed because so many times, we don't realize what we already have.
But that's, I think, very powerful point. We always focus on something
On
that's
what we don't
negative,
have.
what we don't have.
Yes. So by counting our blessings, by saying to yourself every night before you go to bed, that 3 times what you're grateful
Yes.
for, and that's
That's
that
what you're
helps.
grateful for.
Yes.
Yes. That's such a wonderful way. And I thank you so much, Sangeeta, being part of this show today.
Thank you for having me. Namaste.
Very welcome. For my viewers, the feelings are much like waves. We can't stop them coming our way, but we can pick and choose which one to surf upon. I have to stop here and then close it again. Feelings are much like waves. We can't stop them coming our way, but we can choose which one to surf upon. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for watching. I am host Ritu Chopra, and you are watching Despite the Challenges.